Will you what? Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Top 10 Tuesday. I swear I heard it out there too. I don't know. And this week we're looking at the top 10 pre-MCU Marvel movies, which I had to include sequels because there were a lot of good ones. And by that I mean like everything from all the way back to, I don't know, the 80s or whatever, even before that maybe even. All the way to 2008 before Iron Man came out. So, yeah. This is my choice, my rules, my show, my channel. You don't like it? Too bad. Deal with it, punk. Yeah. I say that because some of you are going to be... Yeah, here we are. Just a little aside before I go. There are no honorable mentions for this list. None whatsoever. No honorable mentions at all. This is the only list I don't have honorable mentions for. Yes. It's the only list I don't have honorable mentions for. So, with that in mind, here are my top 10 pre-MCU Marvel movies. Coming in number 10, Ang Lee's Hulk. I don't think this is terrible. It's certainly not anything that we, you've seen nowadays, but it has the basic premise of a Hulk movie. You have Bruce Banner, or Bruce Krenzler, whatever. I don't know why they changed his name. But he's on the run. He becomes a big green monster. It's all that stuff. They just throw a bunch of shit in there. Like, oh, actually, his dad was experimenting on himself. So he already had something inside of him, and the experiment that he does only triggers that. That's not how it's supposed to work. The gamma radiation triggers that. I don't know why they had to change his name. But I always thought Eric Bana was pretty good as the character. CGI is not bad. Him fighting dogs, people complained about that. Well, he fought a giant dog in the Hulk himself fought a giant dog in Ragnarok, so blow it out that your butt for that. But yeah, Nick Nolte is fine as a villain. He's supposed to be a molecule man or something. I don't know, but it's fine. The comic book style threw me off the first time I watched it. It is still a little bit annoying. He's got a whoop, whoop, whoop. But, Ang Lee was trying something. They took a director who directed a martial arts movie and said, here, make a comic book movie. And he's like, I don't know how to make comic book movie. And they're like, we'll give you $45 million or something like that. We'll give you millions of dollars. I do it. And then we got this. It's fine. It's fine. I like it. I don't mind. I watch it every once in a while, Oh boy, number 9. In the beginning, there was Howard the Duck. Yeah, unapologetically, I love this movie, man. Howard the Duck, come on. Rest in peace, Ed Gale. By the way, he was Howard the Duck. He was the small guy in the suit. Rest in peace. But yeah, it's a weird movie, but I love weird movies. I bought this from Walmart. It was like a $5 bin. I was like, okay, I heard about this movie. And I put, it is one of the weirdest comic book movies, weirdest movies, period, I've ever seen. And I did, I love it. I really do. I want to mention Jeffrey Jones. He's persona non grata nowadays. But back then, no matter what he's done in his personal life, he was a good actor. This, Ferris Bueller, Beetlejuice, proved that. The Pest, proved that. But, no account for what he did in his personal life, But he's good in this as a villain. And Tim Robbins, there's something about Wigga, 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 wigga. Leah Thompson. You know, it's great. Number 4. That jumped. Number 8. Blade. The first one. Yeah, I like it. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Great film. Great film. I think that Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost is a great villain. Yeah, the CGI maybe not so good, but is great. I kind of would like to see a sequel, like how they would have done. The original idea for the end of this was that there's going to be somebody standing on top of a building, or wrapped up. It was supposed to be Morbius. Then they realized they don't have the rights to that character, so they didn't do that. Another thing, another ending that I had in mind too is that they were gonna have him be in Russia, and he was gonna find. Well, the thing in Russia was gonna be him fighting Whistler, who's now a vampire. But that didn't. Anyway, but yeah, solid film. Back to that one. Number 7. I can't read numbers. Number 7, The Fantastic Four, the 2005 Fantastic Four. I like this movie. Okay, yes, I know the 1994 version is the only thing real close to the comics, but like I said, I grew up in the 2000s as a teenager and an adult, and Fantastic Four was the movie that, you know, I grew up a fan of the Fantastic Four. I watched the cartoon. I had the thing as a toy, you know, so I was a Fantastic Four fan. I was excited. And then Rise of the Silver Surfer came along and blew all that excitement away. But I like the first Fantastic Four movie. I think the cast is solid, you know. Aeon Gruffat, I don't know how to pronounce his freaking name. Jessica Alba, Chris Evans in his first Marvel first comic book role of 5 or whatever. And Michael Chiklis as the Thing. He's good as the Thing. And I like Julie McMahon as Doctor Doom. I just wish they would have moved on from that character in the sequel. I don't think he was needed when you had freaking Galactus. But of course, you're going to make him a giant cloud that doesn't do anything and needed another villain. I don't know. But, you know, I like the movie. What can I say? Number 6. Thomas Jane's The Punisher. This is a great movie. I tell you why. Thomas Jane is a badass. There was a Punisher before this with Dolph Lundgren. Haven't seen it. There's one after this with Ray Stevenson. Also rest in peace. It's not bad. I prefer this one though. I like it. I wish they would have done more with this version. Apparently didn't do well enough. But everyone remembers this movie fondly. The scene with him and Kevin Nash fighting, he's the Russian. Yeah, John Travolta's a great villain. It works. I try not to think of that scene when his wife, it's not just his wife and kid, it's his whole family. But then his wife and kid get run over. They don't show it, of course, but still. Alright, this one might get me in trouble. But I've told you before that I've liked this one better than the original. It's the one I grew up on. I'm a wrestling fan. Number 5 is Blade Trinity. Go ahead, throw the tomatoes. Throw the tomatoes at me. I said before that Blade Trinity I like more than the original. I'm not a fan of the second one at all. No. Nothing wrong with Guillermo del Toro. Okay, love the first Hellboy. Second Hellboy, not bad. I don't know. There's something about Blade 2 that always... it's a new kind of vampire. And I don't know, the Reavers or whatever they're called? I don't know what they're called, but... I don't know. I always felt that villain was too kind of meh, which is why they had to kind of make this new team he's with also villains to prop up, because the main villain, Luke Goss is the actor's name, is not all that impressive. But here you have Dracula. It's Dominic Purcell. I think he's fine. I prefer Jerry Butler myself, but you know. And for all that, yes, it was trying to. It was trying to set up a spin-off, but it killed off most of the new characters, except for the two that were going to be in a spin-off that never happened. But here is the thing. This movie doesn't happen, no Deadpool. There is no Deadpool without Hannibal King. If this movie doesn't happen, and if X-Men Origins Wolverine doesn't happen, and if Green Lantern doesn't happen, you know, what do we do when we fall? Pick ourselves back up, right? Batman said so. So, he fell once with this. Then he was shoved into X-Men Origins Wolverine. Fell again. Then there was Green Lantern. I don't think Green Lantern's as bad as X-Men Origins Wolverine, but it's still no good movie. But without those failures, he doesn't become Deadpool. Especially without this and X-Men Origins Wolverine, because those characters are very similar. And yes, I know what Wesley Snipes was doing on the set. He would give little sticky notes to David Goyer. Was it David Goyer? He directed this? Yeah, David S. Goyer directed this. And that's earned him hate. It's not all the director's fault sometimes. But I still like this movie. Alright. The top four. Very similar, these four. Number 4, Spider-Man. The Jews out, Gabby. Out of your mind. It's upside down. Kiss, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. What did I say? This was my teenage years, the Spider-Man. It's a classic, as Joey C would say. It's just like Willem Dafoe was the Green Goblin. And J.K. Simmons' first appearance as J. Jonah Jameson. There's a gag reel on here. You know. I like Cliff Robertson as Uncle Ben. Martin Sheen was fine, but, you know, as Uncle Ben's go. The CGI is a little sloppy, and you can tell when it's that. There's a swinging scene where Mary Jane is swinging with Spider-Man. You can tell it's a dummy she's swinging with. I don't know why she's swinging with a dummy, but I think it still holds up pretty well. That bouncing off the balloons is, yeah. But, yeah, you know. Number 3. X-Men. This movie better. Much better. It's the first X-Men movie from 2000. I remember this. We rented it. We watched it as a family back then in 2000. My brother was little at that point. I just remember watching. I had the VHS. And after the movie, you watch the movie. And then afterwards, you got deleted scenes and stuff. They did that back then. Before you had special features on DVDs, you know. They put it there. That and Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo had deleted scenes. Plus a music video. In the land of a million drums. Yeah. But, yeah, this was a, you know, of its time kind of thing. You look back at it now and you go, all black suits. Well, what did you want? Yellow spandex? Yes! But you gotta do it you gotta do the brain voice. What would you prefer? Yellow spandex? Yes! Or is it, yes! 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 We get the yellow spandex! Yeah, that's what it was. When The Matrix came out, they had to be cool. Everyone was like, oh, The Dark Knight made all the comic movies dark, but X-Men did it first. And, yeah, it has a solid cast. Hugh Jackman was a nobody, really. He was doing Broadway plays or something like that. And he was here. Right? Then he did Swordfish. But, yeah. Number 2. Spider-Man 2. Yes, one of the best comic movies ever made. Doc Ock. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is great. Uh, I've never been a fan, personally, of the Harry trying to get revenge story. I don't know why everything needs to have Harry be a villain. I understand eventually he becomes a Green Goblin. But the animated series handled that real well, where it was jealousy because he didn't marry Jane and that whole thing. But it wasn't like he hated Peter. It was jealousy. Jealousy. This makes it alright, I hate him because it's, I don't know. But it works. And this is, the scene on train where they just, this whole bunch of people on the train decide we're going to keep your secrets about it, man. Although, if you really think about it, people will see, it's some guy. They don't know him. They don't know who he is. They don't know his name. But they can see him on the street. Go, hey, you know. Also, I like that you stole that guy's pizzas. Yeah. But number one, X2, X-Men United, or F2 F-Men United. This movie better. Yes. Yeah. Until 2016, this was the best X-Men movie ever made. Until Days of Future Past came along and swept it away. But this is one of the best. I think Stryker is a great villain. I know people have said, well, I think changing it to a human villain, I think we needed a secondary mutant villain. And if you think about it, it's very obvious who they could have used besides Jason. I'm talking about, think about it. If Stryker is responsible for creating Wolverine and the Weapon X program, what villain? What mutant villain do you think he would bring along with him? That's right, Omega Red. Right? Which should have already showed up twice in this. He should have been the side villain in this. He should have been what they were building in frickin' X-Men Ultra's Wolverine, but no, it was the Deadpool. Because Omega Red just makes too much sense. But, yeah. Still fantastic film. Much like with my gripes with the second Fantastic Four movie, though, I don't know, it's a long-running thing in this franchise that Magneto needs to be in every single goddamn X-Men movie. Like, why? And by the time they get to Dark Phoenix, they're just grasping at straws trying to fit him in. Right? For Apocalypse, he has a family, his family died, he's angry now, so he joins Apocalypse. Okay, that gives him purpose. Why? But what about Dark Phoenix? Jean showed up and destroyed his paradise, now he's mad. There's no reason he needed to be involved in that. So, Magneto doesn't mean to me in every X-Men movie, but they did it. So there it is. My top 10 pre-MCU Marvel movies. What are your thoughts on my list? In the comments, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.